Welcome to another street photography video, and we are also doing a review of the Sony 18-135mm lens. I'll show you some photos and we will do this as a quick real-life review of the lens. Let's see what it can do. And first off, I love how flexible and versatile this lens is. It's obviously a zoom range that's really useful, 18-135, but it's also lightweight compared to many of the other zoom lenses in the similar range, and much more affordable as well. I can carry this setup, the camera and lens, and my hands won't get tired, and of course the grip on the Sony cameras makes it more comfortable. Right, and look at how quickly I can just zoom in, focus on someone, and get a sharp image. Thank you, Sony. You'll see more examples here, and at this point I'm just testing the lens out. The harsh light makes it a little bit more difficult, but I'm just taking random pictures at this point, testing the lens out. The 18-135 is quite a useful range for street photography and for travel photography. There's no need to keep switching prime lenses or lenses in general. You can take wide shots, landscapes or cityscapes, and then zoom in, switch to portraits. And you have seen how quickly it can focus. So you will be okay in busy environments and fast-moving scenes, which is exactly what we're dealing with in street photography. And the lens also has image stabilization. So with the really good autofocus on the Sony system, you get a really powerful combo. As I said before, the lens is more affordable than other lenses in the same range. And remember, we're using it on a pretty old camera here, the Sony a6000. Imagine this lens on one of the newer Sony cameras that have even better autofocus. That's why, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. If you just want one camera and one lens and you want to travel light, this is probably the perfect choice. Now, when it comes to aperture, this lens has a variable aperture, f3.5 to 5.6, so you're not going to get awesome bokeh like the ones you get with portrait lenses like an 85 or 90mm 1.8 or 1.4, but that's not a deal breaker for me, so I don't need f1.4 for my day-to-day street photography. Now, this lens is usually compared against the Sony 18-105 f4. That also is an awesome lens, but it's geared more towards video. So the 18-105 has a fixed aperture of f4, and it has this feature where the lens doesn't move when you zoom in and out. So that's pretty handy for video, but I don't really need it that much for street photography or for photography in general. The other lens, the 18-105, is heavier and a bit more expensive. I think it's $100 more expensive, so I actually prefer this one. You get more reach with the 18-135, and it's lighter and cheaper. Now, one of the things you hear constantly about street photography is that you have to use primes. You typically use 28mm or 35mm or even 50mm for street photography, and that helps you be more creative because you're limited to one focal length and you have to use your creativity and your mind to think and plan your shots. And that's true. But I also believe you need to try a zoom lens or have a zoom lens that you can travel with so you don't have to change lenses. And also, switching between focal lengths, zooming in from 18 to 50 to 100 to 135, this makes you think and be more reflective about your framing and your composition. So, about your framing, that means thinking, what do you want to include in your picture, in your frame? And the things you would want to include at 18mm will be different from what you can include at 100mm. And then you can think about your composition. So the truth is, both are correct, both approaches are right, and there are images you will never be able to get with a prime lens, with a fixed focal length, and there are also images that you can't get with the zoom lens if you need a different aperture, if you need a wider aperture, for example, if you're shooting portraits or you're in low light situations. In terms of image quality, this lens is really sharp, and yes, you can improve the sharpness and the details if you stop it down to around f8, and the corners are slightly softer, but that's not something that bothers me, and most people won't notice this. So if you're anywhere between 5.6 to 8 to f8, which is usually how I shoot, you'll be fine and your images will be sharp. The same goes for distortions and chromatic aberrations. These are really insignificant. But if you only work with RAWs, you will see the distortions, but that's easily corrected with lens corrections. Now, in terms of price, if you want to buy this lens new, in the UK it's about 350 British pounds, which is around $400 US. There are also usually good deals on eBay or MPB on used lenses with open box condition or very minimal use. So in summary, the 18-135 will give you good quality, sharp images, and it's an absolutely perfect choice for travel and street photography. It's lightweight, small, versatile, and affordable. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment below. Consider leaving a like because it helps with the algorithm. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.